Hello, my name is Ryan. I'm going to be painting. So, I'm realizing I'm out of canvases, and which is like a good thing and a bad thing. In the last 48 hours, I've gotten through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A lot of paintings, and they're all like 2 points where it's like I feel comfortable unleashing them. But yeah, in the last 24 hours, I've completed about 10. Probably like 3 or 4 larger canvases to completion. 1 giant canvas. Just a productive weekend. But since I want to paint some more, and I have a couple canvases that I don't really like their current states, so I'm going to use those. Now, this one is fun, but it's definitely in the not nearly, I don't know, it reminds me of more like middle school art fair. Not like, ooh, I like to see that hanging up in a wall or on somebody's wall. Now it's just like, what do I want to do with this canvas? Do I want to save any of this? Probably not. And this stuff has some pretty good coverage. And I'm running out of it. So let's go ahead and put it on a palette. Ooh, it's contaminated. That sucks. Oh well. Didn't really have anything in mind to discuss. And in the video that I'm currently uploading, I was trying to do some fine detail work. I started talking and I botched it. If you watch that one, I did actually salvage it. It's very presentable now and is one of my favorite pieces. Currently. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about tariffs. Because I know that's going to be the number one talk of the town. I have to say, Canada. I'm curious at how this trade war is going to play out. I mean, I don't know if everybody's processed this, at least in the skateboarding community. This is going to fucking suck. All the good skateboards are made out of Canadian maple. And the majority of skateboards that we use are manufactured in Mexico. So that's 2 places that are both hit with tariffs right now. That's going to directly affect the cost of skateboards. And that sucks. Because that's going, I mean, anybody who follows the skateboarding community knows that those companies run on shoestrings. Like those things, like it's very much the homies. Type. So that tariff is going to directly affect your local skate shop and everybody's overhead. I mean, already paying 50 to 70, sometimes even more for a skateboard. Yeah. Oh wait, I have a palette. I mean, that was Paul Schmidt's whole thing going to Mexico for manufacturing, is because skateboards are already demanding it to be a certain price. In order to keep it at a certain price, he had to go to Mexico. Now, the whole reason that he's down there is negated due to tariffs. That sucks. I wonder what their end game is. Like, you can't neglect %90 or more of the population and just to keep expecting them to buy your stuff. And eventually, it's all got to give, right? Do have to say, the way that Canada is handling it is hilarious. They drafted up a true trade war where they're going to stop doing business with states, specifically red states and swing states. So the states that are responsible for electing Trump will be hit the hardest. And they've already started it. I was reading earlier about how British Columbia is refusing to import any alcohol from red states that's manufactured or anything. So like the distribution hubs that are located in red states will no longer receive their business. Which we'll see how that plays out. Because I want to say that I think the current people in charge don't really grasp the fact that, you know, places like other countries will just find other markets. I mean, America isn't that big of a market. China, India, they have more people. Granted, they make less, so they have less disposable income, but still. I mean, really, the only reason why America matters in a global business sense is that our governments have been lobbied to a point where the American consumer is the easiest to price gouge. Because they've systematically made us very complacent. I mean, there's so many different industries that are just based off of nonsense. But that's a different gripe. I'm more thinking about tariffs and trade wars. Curious how the Mexico one's going to play out. Because like, there's so many different like automotive plants that manufacture parts that were there and then brought over the border. It's going to be interesting. I know that we're talking about just closing some of the plants that manufacture the parts in Canada, and those parts directly affect the assembly plants in America. So if the manufacturing plants in Canada and Mexico no longer exist due to tariffs or the cost of overhead, that means there's going to be thousands of jobs lost. And the threat of, you need to bring your manufacturing capabilities over here so you don't have to pay the tariffs. Well, I think that's just going to backfire because they'll find a different market. Like, fine. Ugh. The hell? You know what? No, I don't want that brush. I think now it's time to put in the cobalt. And there's, outside of tariffs, there's immigration, which that's turning out to be a lovely change, and that really promotes unity in our country. Sarcasm, in case you can't pick up on it. I mean, Mississippi proposing that they have bounty hunters for immigrants. The fuck? That report coming out of Florida. Man's wife getting deported. They're married for 11 years. And she was currently in the process of getting all of her paperwork, which, that's some bullshit. And honestly, I don't even know if this one is true, but it was reported by a few people that I'm currently trusting. Like, I believe this was the damage control, damage report. And I think I heard it on the Midas Touch network. I don't know. I can't recall. I'm not going to look it up either. But the story is Secret Service agents going into a school in Chicago to harass an 11-year-old kid that posted an anti-Trump thing on social media. That is... that's just disgusting. Because on multiple levels. One level is the story was that these Secret Service people let the school believe that they were ICE agents. You know, and that's pretty fucked up. Going into a school, just going into schools in general with that BS. But the fact that it was because he made an anti-Donald Trump speech, the Secret Service actually went into this school to harass an 11-year-old kid. Which... all right. So I work in education. The threats that we encounter and the training we have to go through for active shooters and all that shit. Like, what the hell? And then there's the point that I believe it was the damage report, or how they made an excellent combination, or an excellent analysis. It's like, why is it that when they a kid posts about Donald Trump, they're able to go to the school and harass him preemptively, or, you know, about that, whereas it's been countless times where school shooters posted about stuff where people notified law enforcement, etc., and they didn't do anything. Yet you can make a post about Donald Trump and potentially have the Secret Service show up. And another aspect of the story was, especially if you are of Hispanic descent, because it was one of those schools where it's a very high Hispanic community. If you have Secret Service people posing as ICE agents, I mean, just, swear. This paint ended up not behaving at all after that. So I'm going to just leave it like that. Get a different brush and move on to a completely different color. Because now I want to just do a big old center band. Of pink. I mean, at this rate, it really only appears that Donald Trump is concerned more about policing and forcing the American people to obey his whims. Which, resist. It's key. Okay. I need to stop. That's fun. Hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about tariffs and immigration and painting, etc. If you don't, whatever. Have a good day.